synth. We are online.
Hey, we are online. Hi, Michi.
Hey, Olli.
How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I took a couple of days off during over the Easter
We are
weekend.
online.
Oh yes, we are.
Somebody else is online.
Yeah. And I really took some time off because Easter holidays,
Certainly a good idea.
and that was a really great idea because
hmm
just get some fresh air and do stuff that usually
Yeah.
doesn't get done. And don't play guitar. I didn't play
Well,
for 5 days or something.
okay.
So
I hardly left the studio.
yes,
Yeah.
but what were you up to?
Oh, I had a couple of productions to do,
Mm.
and also cut some video stuff from our concert in my concert in the Unterfahrt with Michael Hornstein, that live stream. Got that material and I remixed it and then I cut it up, edited it. So yeah,
That's good.
it's always work to be done, you know.
Oh yes, but
And I've got
sometimes I need to take off, just like
and
get
I've got
my
another
head
live
clear.
stream coming up next week. I've got another live stream coming up. Our next Come to My House concert with the great Didier Delia on vocals.
Right,
Yeah.
from Mauritius.
Yep. If anybody's interested, tune in. You'll find it on our YouTube channel. Come to My House POW, or just go to www.cometomyhouse.de, and you'll
I
find
will
all
post
the
it.
information there.
I will post that in our chat so everybody can join in. That's a great thing. I think you celebrated your first anniversary, right?
Right, it's our first anniversary and our 15th concert now.
That's unbelievable, really.
Yes, we started that April 2020.
Yeah, that's been a while. I think I was your guest. Maybe I don't know when was that. Somewhere in the summer.
Something like early on, like May or June, I think.
Could be. Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
it's been a while. Yeah.
I like our version of Spain.
Oh yes,
We
it
played
was really fun.
Chicoria, Spain. That was fun. With you on the gypsy guitar. That's
Yes.
a very special instrument.
Oh yes, that's my one of my favorite things to do. I like
hmm
all kinds of guitars. Yeah.
I know.
That's a special thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Today we rehearsed with only 3 people and with distance, but the first time in a really long time
hmm
that we played some gypsy jazz,
hmm
because music is meant to be played together, not by yourself at home.
Good.
Well,
Yeah.
that was great. Yeah, finally we got to do that. I'm gonna post this on our Facebook page so everybody knows we're live, and we can maybe have some people join us. Yeah, still crazy times. So we are free on Thursday night. So usually on Thursday night I'm somewhere. I'm somewhere playing something.
Well, you used to. Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Mhm.
Not anymore. Yeah. So we are free to do this. I mean, this is our, how many shows did we do now? So it could be our 10th show already.
Yeah, could be.
So I have to look that
Not
up.
sure.
Yeah. And I'm gonna post it on my page also, so maybe somebody can join in. Yeah, we have a special topic today, right? So every week we
Sure.
choose some topic.
You've got the guitar already ready in front of you, because it's first and foremost a guitar song, right?
Well, it became one,
Became one.
right? So it's not originally a guitar song,
Sure, it doesn't have to.
but
Mhm.
everything sounds better if you play it on guitar. That's what I tell all my students also. You can come up with
Well,
whatever
almost everything.
whatever tune, yeah. You can play that, and it sounds way better if you play it on guitar, of course,
Better than?
better than anything.
Oh, better than anything.
I
Okay.
mean, guitar is just the best instrument.
Sure. That's
You
why
know
I
that.
always have a couple around,
There's one, right? I mean, I'm really, I envy you because I sold my Parkerfly like, I don't know, a
I can,
while ago.
yeah, I can lend you mine from time to time.
Yeah, it's such an
Actually,
amazing guitar.
yeah, actually, I think I'll do it, and you could do some adjustment. I think it's not perfect how it's adjusted right now. It
Yeah,
still,
I saw that once, right?
yeah, it still plays well, but I'm sure it
Yes,
can be
it's such
better.
an amazing piece of gear. It's really crazy. Yeah. Oh wow, we have a couple of subscribers. I can't believe it.
Ah, okay.
Harry Hoggart, Eduardo Navarro, Paulo Santos Lima, and man, JMASTAA Flex. That's the
Mhm.
Parker flight. There it is. Yeah.
It is in its full glory. Check it out, guys.
Yeah, during the 90s, I played that like on every gig because it's so light and it's so versatile. I had like
Yeah, that's
also
cool.
you can play acoustic like with
Mhm.
the PS, with the piezo pickup. It's
Mhm.
crazy. Yeah.
And the reason why I have it as a non-guitar player is that it's always perfectly in tune. It's really one of the best tuning guitars that I know.
Totally right. Yeah. It plays like because it's all carbon fiber, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So the frets, they don't like they look like new
Mhm.
even after 10 years or something.
Sure.
It's it could be the perfect guitar, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a really special design, and it was like 10 years ago or something. It was kind of out of fashion,
Yeah.
but a lot of people are back into it, and the prices gone real high again.
Really? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It used to be very expensive in the 90s when I bought it.
Oh yes, it was like $4,000 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into it. We talked about this tune, which is um, basically a guitar player's favorite since this guy recorded it
Right. A
on this
fusion guitar
album.
player's favorite, you have to say.
Yes, yeah. So this guy, everybody knows that I'm a huge fan.
It might be his biggest hit, right? Together with some others from that album, like Talk to Your Daughter.
Yeah, this was huge. Like this album
Yeah.
was
Uh-huh.
"Talk to Your Daughter" by Robben Ford was
Right.
absolutely
So,
huge.
yeah, Robben Ford. Actually, Robben Ford is a founding member of the Yellowjackets. And the first recording of this song of Revelation it is not on that album that you just showed, but on the Yellowjackets Shades album.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a vocal track.
It's a vocal track.
Yeah. So this is actually Robben Ford really was the founding member of the Yellowjackets. This is the first Yellowjackets album
Hmm.
where he is on, and this still blows my mind because it's so. Um, I mean, I always wondered how can a band put out a first album that sounds like this.
Hmm.
Um, Years later, I turned the album around and I found the key, produced by Tommy Lipuma. Okay,
Anything this guy produced
that's
sounds
not
great,
bad.
of course. Right. Was
So
that a GRP record already?
no, this is Warner Brothers actually.
This is one of us. Okay.
Yeah,
Because Shades was a GRP production
exactly.
done
They
at,
changed. Mm.
yeah, done at the Mad Hatter studio, I remember. So
Oh,
that,
really?
yeah, Chick Corea.
Chicoria Studio?
Yes.
Wow,
Hmm.
I didn't know that. So I
I,
have the
I
CD
think
somewhere.
I'm not sure. I think they got a Grammy for it, for the Shades album, right? Didn't they?
They should have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that stuff they did back then was just amazing. Like this record, and also the one after this. It's called Mirage à Toi,
Oh yeah, Mirage à Toi. Hmm.
which is
Right.
it has a lot of amazing tracks on it,
Hmm.
and it features also Robben Ford,
Hmm.
and it features I didn't know that actually. I always thought that Robben Ford is on the whole album, but actually there's another guitar player on it.
I don't remember that. Who was that?
It's Mike Miller.
Mike Miller.
Mike Miller is maybe not as famous as Robben Ford, but he played in Chick Corea's electric band 2
Okay.
on another album which we should talk about at some point. It's called Paint the World.
I
It's
thought
an
I've
amazing
read the name before.
album.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mike,
he's a really fantastic guitar player.
what became of him?
Oh, he's I just saw an interview with him.
Really? Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's how I figured that out, because I always thought it's Robben Ford on the whole album.
Hmm.
And it's pretty weird because Robben Ford is playing Strat on that album.
Strat. Hey.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's pretty.
Uh-huh. I only know him on a humbucker guitar, no matter what.
Yeah, because I think he was around the time he was in Miles Davis' band for a really short time.
Hmm. I know.
He didn't record, but he played live.
Hmm.
And I think Miles Davis wanted him to play Strat because he always wanted some guy like a Jimi Hendrix type guy.
Oh yeah, true. Uh-huh.
So he wanted some guy who played like
Hmm.
I think even Mike Stern played Telecaster, Stratocaster at some point with Miles Davis. So he always wanted some Jimi Hendrix guy in there.
Hmm.
So, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Robben Ford to me is not exactly the Jimi Hendrix type. He's
He is
more
not.
what like a modern Rory Gallagher or Alvin Lee type.
Well, I mean, he always says Mike Bloomfield is his huge inspiration on guitar, like the first kind of virtuoso blues guitar player from the States.
Hmm.
But of course, he's very much influenced by saxophone players like Wayne Shorter and John Coltrane. That's what he says.
Hmm.
But he listened to a lot.
Hmm.
So, and he played saxophone in the beginning. So he was a saxophone player and then switched to guitar. So he had, yeah, I think he had this sound in his ear that he wanted to hear from the guitar, and it's more horn-like.
Yeah, hence the lines. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the stuff
Mhm.
he plays is very much influenced by jazz from the maybe from the 60s or late 60s
Yeah.
even.
On the
And
other hand, he's deeply rooted in the blues with everything he does.
oh yeah, and that's a special thing. That's some guitar players have that they are really um, they've fusioned those two things, blues guitar sound and playing and jazz lines,
Hmm.
and but they were not heavily influenced by like Hendrix and Richie Blackmore, all the big names like in the late 60s.
Yeah.
They were already into the Miles Davis quintet or something,
Hmm.
I think, at that point. So they got the blues tradition and then kind of got into jazz, and they kind of took a detour and were not into like Deep Purple or the stuff that happened, or Clapton or stuff like that. They were of course aware of it, but not that heavily influenced by it. That's just what I think. I can't say that for sure, of course.
Yeah. I mean, Robben Ford is not so much on the rock and roll side, right? I've never heard him play like heavy. That's not his thing. He's like it's basically it's blues with chromatics, what he does, and his sound is not so yeah. Well, it's from the blues side.
Yeah, it's not like heavy distortion.
Nah,
It's really
and no power chords and stuff.
yeah.
But of course, the shuffle is there.
Oh, yes. I mean, his time is amazing,
Mhm.
and
Yeah. Well, did you know that I'm playing on a record with Robben Ford?
I have that record.
You got that record.
Joe Diorio. I have the CD actually,
Yeah, mine.
and I already had that before we met each other.
Great.
I had this for a long time actually. Yeah.
It was an MGI production,
Yes.
and it's done at the Mad Hatter Studios.
Is it really?
Yeah, really. With Gary Willis and Peter Erskine.
What a lineup!
Yeah.
How did you get to play on that actually?
Because at that time I did an instruction video for blues piano
Come on.
with the former leader of MGI, Andreas Vasen was his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He released a couple of videos at that time, and I showed some blues basics. Um, what to do with your left hand,
Oh, come on.
and rolling licks with your right hand. Okay, and anyway,
I need to see that. Is it still like? Can you see that anywhere?
at the end of the session, he just asked me, "Would you play on that record?" They could use some keyboards.
Wow.
Yeah,
How cool is that?
yeah, I thought so.
So
And
you
it was
overdubbed that?
in Munich. It was overdubbed in Munich.
Mm.
There was a studio right next to the former MGI. I don't remember the name now.
Hmm.
And yeah, well, I just went there and did it in one afternoon.
Hmm.
It was no big deal. But anyway, it was fun to listen to the raw sounds of those guys.
Oh yeah.
Like Robben
That,
Ford, I mean, he doesn't need any mixing. He sounds perfectly. Just because he's so perfect that the guitar tone is just amazing. Leave it as it is. Leave it alone. Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah.
Whereas Joe Dioro is kind of rough. The sound is pretty rough. It's not easy to integrate into a mix. He's really sticking out.
Yeah, he's a pure jazz player. Like or like
Of
a
course. Hmm.
so sometimes I also think those guys, those live players,
Hmm.
I don't think he was really a studio musician, right? He was more a player
I
guy.
don't
Yeah.
guess so. Hmm.
So he's probably like, okay, here's my amp.
Yeah.
Let's record.
Hmm.
So but he probably didn't spend so much time on his sound because he just did what he always did.
Hmm. Whereas Robben
Whereas,
Ford is in some ways pretty similar to Larry Carlton from the creamy sound that he has. It's very 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 um yeah, well sounding, pleasing.
yeah, I mean,
Sounds so good, right?
he was recording already a lot. I mean, he was also like in the recording scene, of course, not
Hmm.
like Larry Carlton or Ritenour or something, but um, he knew how to do that, and he was of course spending a lot of time um, perfecting his sound.
Yeah, I guess so. What's the name of those amps again that he uses?
Yes, a Dumble.
Dumble, right? Um, Dumble. Um, is it true that they're the most expensive amps in the world?
Well, he doesn't build many of them, so and you can't
It's a
you
one-man
can.
operation, right? Dumble.
I think so. I mean, it's like it's really mystical thing. The story is that Dumble heard Robben Ford play in the early 70s, and he played. I don't know what he played, like a bassman or something. I
Fender,
don't remember.
probably. Yeah.
And so he got inspired to build an amp for Robben Ford.
Hmm.
That's why he's got. I don't remember exactly. I think he has number two and number one. He kept Dumble kept by himself. And Robben Ford is basically the Dumble amp. That's the first thing he built. Yeah, and after that he built amps for like Larry Carlton, of course. That's why he has a similar sound. Larry Carlton
Hmm.
also plays his Dumble,
Hmm.
but people say that everybody like Dumble listens to the player and builds the amp specifically for that player.
That's amazing.
So you really have to go there
Can you do?
and you have to play, and then he decides if he builds an amp for you or not.
Nah,
Yes,
if he likes you or not, or
he
what?
only builds stuff for people he likes, that
Mm-mm.
you're worthy for
Mm. What do
that
they
amp.
cost? What do they?
Well, nobody knows how much he wants for a new amp, but of course, there's only I don't know how many there are. Like I'm just guessing right now. I think like 300 amps. And right now, if you want to buy one on the used market, it's like 100,000 bucks.
Really? A
Yes,
100,000?
between 80 and 150, if there is
Wow.
one.
For a head.
Yeah, head or combi, it doesn't matter. I mean, some people. Once I saw a guy try to sell just the speaker cabinet for 20,000. It's the holy grail. It's like
Really?
because oh yeah, they are so rare. So it's almost like a Gibson Les Paul burst. Yeah, that's even more ridiculous because
Huh?
like um,
There was a copy, I think, like Sebago or something. You know
yes,
that?
there are lots of copies.
Uh-huh.
I mean, copies. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, people say that Dumble, he sprayed all the components so nobody can figure out what's inside.
Okay.
But of course, over the years, people try to figure it out. Even the Fuchs amp, the one I got,
Mm-hmm.
is basically a Dumble
Mm-hmm.
inspired
Inspired by
amp.
them. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's a couple, like Two Rock is also a company which, or there's a, like Larry Carlton plays Bluto Tone on tour sometimes. And
Mhm.
there's also a Dutch guy. So there's a couple of people who try to build that.
Mhm.
And people say it's a really special amp because
Mhm.
it's really, it doesn't try to do anything with the guitar tone. It just tries to amplify it.
Mhm.
Whereas like a Fender amp has really, really scooped mids, or like most amps do something with the
Okay.
guitar tone. And this is basically, but that's what I heard. I'm not a,
Okay. You never played one?
no, I never played one.
Mhm.
I don't know anybody who owns one. So
So you can't try one. Yeah. Okay.
it's pretty rare. Yeah?
Uh-huh.
And I played a couple of the Dumble inspired amps, and finally I decided to buy the Fuchs ODS 100, which is basically said like Andy Fuchs was inspired by Dumble
Yeah.
to
Well,
do
as I
that.
said many times before, that's my favorite amp of yours.
Yeah,
This
and
thing sounds perfect. It records so well. It's really an amazing sound.
it's a beautiful amp. It's extremely picky when it comes to speakers. Like it's I spent a lot of time to search for a speaker that really fits that sound very well. That's really important.
Mm-hmm.
There's other amps, that it's it's gonna sound fine with this, or it's also gonna sound fine with that. But
Mm-hmm.
that one, it's really picky. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so you have to spend some time figuring stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but it's a fun amp. It's extremely dynamic. So I
Right.
remember
That's what I like. Right.
the first couple of gigs I played. I think it was one of the first gigs I played with a club society with a 5-piece band, a singer and a keyboard player and
Mm-hmm.
drums and bass. And I put the speaker there, and the keyboard player was sitting there, and I was playing. He was, oh shit, because I was playing something. It was, wow, it was real loud, like in a. It was so like it's almost like you need almost a driver's license for this thing,
Mm-hmm.
because it can be like the dynamic response is so big.
But that's something like every guitar player can do with any amp. I realize that. It's nothing special.
That's true, but this was like, okay, I play something, and you can't believe that it's like the dynamic range is so big. I mean, it was not only loud but also soft. So that was the craziest thing. Yeah, loud guitar amps are everywhere, of course. So,
Yeah.
but this is
Yeah.
this was just unbelievable that wow, it's
Yeah.
like
I
right.
like it. I like it if you dial it in just that hair when it starts to break up. That's that fugue sound that I like the most.
Yes,
So
that's
if you attack it a little bit and the crunch comes in. Mm,
right. This is basically this is, I think, the Dumble sound which everybody's looking for. It's
mhm,
not this huge fat distortion, yeah,
mhm,
but it's something that, yeah, it can be really clean if you put the volume back a little bit, yeah.
mhm,
And so
mhm.
you know what? I played through a Dumble, but it's inside the camper.
Yeah, of course.
But
Right. That's like the Hammond B3 preset in any synthesizer.
exactly. But this is not bad, actually. Yeah. It certainly is something that is in that kind of field. Yeah. So it's yeah, it's not overly distorted, even though this has, of course, the pickups are a little bit hot on this one,
Mhm.
better than on my other guitars. But this is it's fun to play,
Hmm.
certainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a final question on that topic: is it Fender based or is it Marshall based?
It is Fender based,
Fender.
what they say.
Mm,
Yeah, because Dumble also does mods to Fender amps.
mm,
Like I heard there's a guy, a great jazz guitar player. His name is Bruce Foreman. He's a really great player, and he talked. There's a great podcast. It's called Guitar Wank, and I listen to that all the time. It's Scott Henderson from Tribal Tech.
says it all.
It's it's it's, it's really it's absolutely unbelievable, that show.
Hmm.
But in that show, he talked about that Dumble actually did build him an amp, and that he sent a tape or something. Yeah, he sent something where he plays, and of course, he's an amazing player. And I said, "Okay, come on over. I built you something," and he built him, like, he modified. I don't remember, a Pro Reverb or something, like a Fender amp. He modified to his liking, and he said it was just an unbelievable amp. So he does also modifications, and I think he started out modding Fenders,
Hmm.
but from what I know, is that it's really like a pretty drastic change. Like, but I just talked to the tech, because my Fuchs, as you see, is still at the shop to get like overhauled.
Should be on the shelf behind you, right?
It should be there. But I have a pretty good sub, my
Yeah.
Buddha, and my self-built Zen drive, actually. Zen drive distortion, the red pedal.
Hmm.
There was also one guy who built an overdrive for Robben Ford. So Robben had, of course, the problem when he traveled, he couldn't bring his Dumble because it was too heavy, and also it's like maybe the most
What if it gets
amp
lost?
in the world.
Hmm.
Dumble number 2.
Hmm.
So it's probably, I don't know how much that thing is worth.
Hmm.
So people started sending him pedals,
Hmm.
and one guy, his name is Hermida, I think Alfonso Hermida or something. Yeah? He built this Zen drive, and Robben Ford used it for a while, and it's supposed to sound like a Dumble. So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Okay,
it
he's
doesn't.
not content with a tube screamer. I see.
No, it's a different beast.
Hmm.
Because the Zen drive really, the tube screamer is really good if you put it in front of an amp who's already a little bit distorted.
Hmm.
But the Zen drive can also like make his own distortion sound into a clean amp.
Hmm.
Not really. I had one for a while, and I compared it to the Fuchs, and it was just,
Is
yeah,
that
it was
is that the Sans amp? Is that the one that
no,
you're talking about? No,
no.
different
Oh,
one.
it's a different thing. Yeah, it's
Okay.
really Zen, Zen
Ah, okay.
Zen drive.
Ah,
Yeah,
Zen. Ah, yeah.
yeah.
Like,
That's why the Buddha is next to him. Maybe
I see. I see.
that was not the plan, actually.
That makes sense.
That was not the plan. Yeah,
Yeah.
but of course that's the thing that everybody says. Okay, Robben Ford has this gorgeous sound. Yeah, so and it's all about the Dumble and his guitars he plays. But of course it's not. He can play through anything, and he's gonna
I
sound really,
guess
really
you
amazing
sound good
because,
with just about any piece of gear.
yeah. Of course it helps if he has an amazing amp, of course, and
Of course.
that's rare that people find this like amazing equipment
Hmm.
and play through it, and then also are amazing players. So,
Hmm.
yeah. But of course, there's another guy. Without him, that song would never exist. Russell
Russell.
Ferrante.
Yeah, sure. Russell
He's
Ferrante.
the
Right. Hmm.
he's the keyboard player of
Hmm.
the Yellowjackets, right?
Yeah. Right. It's not easy to figure out what exactly he did in the intro of Revelation on the Robben Ford record.
Okay.
It's a very special sound, and I'm not sure, but I would think it's a Yamaha GS. That was a predecessor to the DX7, and basically the same technology under the hood, but
Okay.
only presets. It had like what 16 presets or so. But people were blown away at that time by the playability and musicality of it, and you can hear it. It's one of the very rare keyboards of that time with aftertouch.
Okay.
You can hear it when he leans into it. That's what brought me to the thought it could be a GS probably. Um, so he plays like wah this.
Right.
I can't do it right now, but I didn't register a sound like that right now, and it's a little bit clumsy to get to it now. But anyway, that's when he leans into his fingers with his weight, and that triggers the aftertouch in the keyboard, which is rooted to well loudness actually. So the sound decays like bow, and the aftertouch brings it up again like bow. This.
Right. And we're
Right.
talking like this is I think recorded in '86, right?
He does
Around,
it very tastefully, so
oh,
it's a
88,
yeah.
88.
And
Yeah.
because of that, it sounds like a cross between an E piano and an organ.
Right.
He could also might have done it with a pedal. Could be possible, but I don't think so.
Mm.
It's probably aftertouch.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh,
Because I think he was always into technology, right? He was always trying stuff like
Yes,
different
not
synth.
cutting edge like those American guys like Michael Bodecker,
Mhm.
and I mean the leading synth programmers of that time. Not like that, or Philip says they're a different league
Mhm.
regarding technology, of course. Uh,
I think also here there's what does it say?
Porcaro,
Yeah.
Steve Porcaro.
Oh, actually, I
But,
thought there was maybe on the record there's you can read what
mhm.
he used, but I can't
Yeah,
find it right now.
Russell Ferrante.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, what a great composer, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, what a great composer, right? And this thing, how do you think it was composed? What was the basic idea? I think the basic idea was to start a rock song. We want a rock
Yes.
song on the record. That's what I think. And because of their Christian beliefs, it was a natural thing to go into some gospel territory.
I think so too. Um, I think from what I heard, the Yellowjackets they are really uh, like into they're really Christian, right? So they
Religious.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
really religious.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I
I'm not
think
sure if all of them are, but I think I'm not sure
what
about
I
Bob
heard. Yeah.
Minzer. Yeah, I'm not sure about Bob Minzer, but
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. But I really think that maybe the revelation was maybe even the key. Yeah, because it's a vocal track,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it was even I don't know, but maybe they already had the vocals in mind and the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So probably there was really the intention to write a gospel tune with those lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
and it has strong gospel harmonies, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's for me, it's one of the really few perfect songs. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
absolutely. Beautiful
it's
song. You could play it as a ballad as well,
yeah,
or do a different version in 6/8 if you like, or whatever.
mm,
It'll always
yeah,
sound good.
yeah. So I don't know what the first inspiration was, but I really think it has to do with that revelation. Yeah, and maybe even the chorus could have come first. Yeah, yeah.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah,
Okay. Uh-huh.
but just I'm just guessing. I
Yeah.
never thought about it actually.
Well, to me, the A part is stronger than the B part, actually. I think
Yeah,
that's the basic idea.
could be.
This.
Right.
That's the.
I found a sheet a while ago.
Mhm.
I hope I can put that up now so we can look at that, which is quite a good sheet. It's a couple of things. So this is not mine, but I like it because you can see all the chords in it and stuff. So
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the intro, right? Yeah. So all this pedal stuff going on with the
Right.
triads on top. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's really like a Mixolydian
hmm
thing, right?
Everybody plays this intro different. It's so
I'm
funny.
sure.
If you listen
I'm sure.
to like 6 versions of Revelation on YouTube, everybody plays the intro different.
Oh yeah,
That's like a libero.
probably.
Here
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I would play. I would do that.
Yeah.
That's how I remember it.
I think that's correct. That sheet is not
But
100% correct.
of course, you could fool around with it, like
Right.
do
But
whatever.
if anybody is in doubt what Mixolydian is,
Ah.
then you can check out the intro of Revelation, and of course a lot of the rest of it.
Mhm.
Because here you get all, like, you see that this F sharp is just for reference, that it's something in G, but
Mhm.
it's all F naturals.
Indicating the key, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Not the scale, but the key.
yeah, so this is really F over G and C over
Yeah.
G, and it goes to G. Yeah,
Mhm.
which is, yeah, a long time ago somebody told me that this is something you can, like a way to build modal harmonies.
Mhm.
You use the first and fourth and fifth degree of a key, like in C, like C, F, G, and C. Yeah, 1, 4, 5, and you put as a bass note, you put the root of the mode you want to use. Yeah. So if you want G Mixolydian, that's
Mhm.
basically the fifth mode of C major, right?
Mhm.
So you use 1, 4, 5 of C,
Mhm.
but you put G as a bass.
Voila,
Yeah.
Mixolydian.
And there you have it. Yeah. You can do that with any mode. Yeah. You could do Lydian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that. But that's right. Right. So
Let's write a song.
you can spend like days on on figuring out stuff with
Yeah,
that concept.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So basically, that's what happens in the intro. So it actually works.
Mhm.
Yeah. Great tune. So what else we got? Then we got that A section. Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is also, what would you say the harmony is like? It's really, I think it's
Well,
really gospel based. All this stuff, right?
yeah, right. Yes. Um, it's basically only it's G, so it's the tonic,
Mhm.
and it goes to C, fourth. That's really a gospel move, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay, and it goes to the dominant.
Right. And then also, and we got the triads on top again, like
Yeah.
D pedal, but also different triads on top of that. Yeah. So this is really cool. The cool stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's a secondary dominant, which this usually wants to go to E minor.
Right.
Yeah. But it doesn't. It's not
No,
going to E minor.
no.
It goes back to C.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it's a great sound.
It's related to it.
Yeah, relative minor
Yeah.
for G. Yeah. So it's a great sound to not resolve it. Of course, it resolves chromatic over to the C again. But
Yeah.
that's a great sound.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, to use.
Actually, you could play that with E minor. It would sound like.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So he just decides to go to the 4 chord. Yeah. And it's just a great melody, this stuff, yeah. So great,
Hmm.
great hook.
Yeah, that pickup is very catchy. This
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Hmm.
So he really understands how to put stuff like in,
That turnaround.
yeah.
Hmm.
So here nothing happens. Yeah, the melody is here. Yeah, and
It's
great.
just a little rest, and then it picks up again into
Yeah,
the
great.
next 8 bars. Hmm.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So same
Very
stuff
good.
happens again, but then we have this extension, which is really cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the second A is elongated by this. It's almost a B part.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and this is really fun to play on. Yeah, because here he finally goes to E minor. Yeah,
Hmm.
here this is supposed to go to E minor, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it goes to E minor. Like this is almost a bridge for me. I don't feel this belongs to A, like what he wrote there.
Hmm.
So this is almost a bridge. Yeah,
Yeah, but that thing in itself might as well be a gospel tune.
exactly.
Only those 2 A parts. That,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
that's how a lot of that stuff is written.
Mhm.
Like A1, A2.
Exactly. That's it. But this thing is, of course, goes way further. So we got this, which is kind of the B part, yeah. This where they go from. Yeah. Of
Hmm.
course, it's the same thing. Like this stuff repeats, so it's very related to the A part, of course. So I can understand why he wrote that. It's like an extension of A. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought of it as a
Yeah.
B part, but
That's
whatever.
I think that's typical Russell Ferrante. He
Yeah.
does that on Going Home, for example. He does that too.
Okay. Hmm.
He's very melodic, I think. His
Oh
whole
yeah.
thing is very melodic.
Oh, extremely. Yeah. Like going home, I think that's from the Mirage à Trois album, right? That's
Yes.
amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, what a yeah. It's almost crazy that nobody's singing on that stuff, right?
But
It's
you
so
could.
singable.
But you could, yes, sure.
Yeah. Oh, I remember one thing. Um, I went to see El Giro in
Ah.
Munich at the Philharmonic.
Hmm.
Yeah, and of course everybody's waiting, and they said, "Oh, there's like a an opening act for El Giro." So, okay, let's see. Yeah, and this girl singer comes out, and I never heard of her, and she starts like the band starts, and it's killer. Yeah, and they play all Police tunes.
They play police?
They play Police, the Police.
Okay.
Yeah, but I couldn't believe it. It was so hip. It was the
Uh-huh.
hippest Police stuff I ever heard. After a couple of tunes, she introduces the band. On piano, the arranger and piano player Russell Ferrante. And I'm like, all
Oh,
right,
that's
okay, I know what's happening. And this was extremely, it was a fantastic band.
what's the name
Uh,
of that singer?
I have the album. I will let you know. It's Kevin Leto.
Ah, Kevin Letter. Yeah, I know that
Yeah,
album.
you know her.
Okay. Is
She's
it
got a
is it
Police
Russell
album.
Ferrante on the album as well?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
the arranger of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was unbelievable. So I didn't really care about El Giro that much after that because it was just that evening was just
Uh-huh.
worth it already by listening to the first band.
Mm-hmm.
Um, killer band.
Mm-hmm.
So he's such a versatile guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that Kevin Letter album is really good. Um, I did a Kevin Letter inspired version of Murder by Numbers
Oh really?
in our last concert.
Oh,
In our last Come to My House concert,
cool.
like 4 weeks ago. Mm.
Oh, so you heard that album?
Yeah, yeah. So it's it's just and Petra
Yeah,
singing. It's
cool.
not easy to make a police version, a version of a police song, just with a piano.
Oh yeah. Mm. Yeah, and to make something that's yeah, kind of original because the songs are so strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that album, I listened to the long. I haven't listened to it actually for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like about around 2000, I think it came out, and that was brilliant. So
Mm-hmm.
um, that's why I got into the Yellow Jackets even more after I heard that. A couple of tunes are amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's go back to
Let's go back to Revelation.
Revelation. So that's a cool move here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course inversions are always hip to go somewhere because
Yep.
that's
Uh-huh.
a similar move than this one, right?
Yep. A prolonged A part.
Yeah. And then we go
Right.
right to this one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he resolves to like a D sus chord. Yeah. Back to the 4 and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
and this thing a little bit reharmonized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bass notes ascending now. I
Mm-hmm.
wonder, like, how much Russell Ferrante really wrote, and maybe how much was also done by all the other players. I have no idea.
Oh,
Once actually, I had
the
the chance
melody.
to.
I'm sure the melody and the harmonization. That's typical Russell Ferrante.
Yeah,
He actually uses a lot of those typical gospel chords, like diatonic triads. Like this.
right.
Typical for his sound.
Because actually, now
Instant gospel.
I totally forgot about that, but I had a masterclass with Russell Ferrante actually.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
Because when I was in at Berkeley, um, the guys came actually. It
Mm-hmm.
was the drummer back then was Marcus Baylor,
Mm-hmm.
pretty young guy.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic drummer. He played really soft, but was grooving like crazy. And Russell Ferrante was there, and he came to. He did a couple of masterclasses. He was there for 1 week, and of course we talked about okay how he's composing. And what I remember most is that he talked about okay he can spend like 2 weeks programming a drum groove, and then he's bringing it in, and what I remember he said it's flying out of the window in 5 seconds because the drummer goes like, all right, that's not bad, but let's do this.
Yeah, well,
So
there's always that big question, that dichotomy of a good demo versus a bad demo, or no demo at all. You can
exactly.
go both ways, depending on what you want to achieve, of course.
So that's what I really remember, that he said he really
Yeah.
programs stuff and tries
Mhm.
to like yeah.
Mhm.
But when it comes to like the band, he really believes in the band
Mhm.
process of
Yeah.
okay, everybody puts his thing in, and it might be a good idea, like maybe the drummer like he really takes something, but
Mhm.
of course does his own thing,
Mhm.
and then elevates the whole thing.
Mhm.
So I think from what I like in those couple of days, what I got from him is that he really believes in the process of a band, and that it really makes sense that those guys are sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like okay, I bring the tune and everybody plays it.
Mhm.
It's more like okay, guys, this is the tune. What do you want to do with it?
Mhm.
And so I think they really cultivated that thing in the Yellow Jackets, that everybody brings in his thing, and that's of course something, yeah, something huge. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but I don't know for sure. Of course, like it could be different with any tune.
Yeah. But
Maybe some tunes, they get played just
uh,
as he imagined them, and some others don't.
yeah, I think the more outstanding a tune is, the less standard a tune is, the more a demo makes sense,
Oh yeah,
to at least give some kind of idea where you wanted to go with that.
of
Right?
course. Mm.
Because if if you write, for example, no chord, and you put on a melody like, So, guys, okay, now you're
What do you want to
inspired,
do?
right?
Right.
Come on, play
Exactly.
something. That's not going to work, of course.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to put an extreme on the table,
Right.
right?
Totally. Yeah.
But with a tune like Revelation, well, you don't actually need a demo. You can just play to them.
Exactly.
Okay, and everybody's gonna chime in.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, we have never commented. Hey, Bernhard,
Ah,
thanks a lot. That's nice. You like it.
mm,
We played Revelation together already, right? Kind of. Because we did a course with Supergain,
mhm.
and you played on it. You played keys on it.
Did we play it live? Super.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we
I
did it.
thought we only recorded it. Okay.
No, we played it at the concert in Heppel und Ettlich at the theater in Munich,
Okay. Uh-huh.
and you were there playing it.
Ah, I didn't
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah, well, I'm getting old.
Oh, it's been, I don't know, it's been a couple of years. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, Till is also there. That's nice. Yeah, glad you like it.
Till, hey.
Oh, did you get those magazines already?
Yes, I did, and
Oh,
I
awesome.
mean, yeah, I had a hard time putting them away and doing my work.
Nice, because you got some like vintage keyboard magazines,
I only
right?
got half through the first issue that he gave me. It's from 1986, and it has Depeche Mode on the cover. And guess how many pages that issue alone had? 180.
Wow,
It has
yeah.
180 pages of information. I mean,
Uh,
it's amazing. It's so in depth what they did at that time.
mm,
It's a great magazine. I think we'll have to talk about those old magazines sometime.
that would be nice. Yeah. Unfortunately, I threw most of them away at some point because at some point my mother got so mad at me that I had all these, and she's like, "What are you gonna do with those mail?" And so at some point I said, "Okay, well,"
Mhm.
but unfortunately, yeah, most of them are gone. So I found a couple of them in the Master Mix studio. They have
Yeah.
guitar and bass from the 90s there
Yeah.
with Robben Ford
Yeah.
interview.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember that was one of the issues. Was really big for me. Yeah, a Robben Ford interview where the first time in my life um, uh, I saw the diminished scale,
Really?
and they were talking about, yeah, the diminished scale is like two diminished arpeggios a half step away, and I'm like, I had no clue what they were talking about.
Two diminished, half step.
Two diminished
What?
arpeggios a half step away.
Okay.
I'm like,
Uh-huh.
what the hell is that?
Uh,
Yeah. So, but of course I could hear it. Yeah, and there was an album coming out. It was called it was a Blue Line album, Mystic Mile, I think.
Uh-huh.
And there was actually a misdirected blues on it, and he played some diminished scale stuff. And I was like, oh, this is so hip. So I kind of religiously read that magazine where all this like important information was inside.
Yeah. I'm self-taught, as you know. I didn't study. I didn't have any teacher, and so for me, those magazines were important too, because they kind of gave me a terminology for a lot of stuff that I kind of already knew and used, but never had a name for it. And like this diminished thing. Of course, I did something like this as a diminished chord, which is basically two diminished chords, one in the left and one in the right. And I still think of them as a whole step away, but doesn't matter anyway. You could do it that way, and then it's a half step. Well,
Exactly. It's
but as soon as somebody puts a name on it and a method, it's a totally different thing, right? Because you're beginning to understand intellectually what you did just by ear up to that point.
I think even those magazines, that was the YouTube of our time, I think.
Maybe, yeah. Mhm.
Because nowadays you go to YouTube if you wanna
Yeah.
search for something, yeah. Back
And
then it was like once a month I went to the store and I bought all the 3 magazines there were. It was Fachblatt, Soundcheck, and Guitar and Bass. I bought all of them.
the Fachblatt, yeah, right. Fachblatt.
Yeah, I had to have it because I was
I mean,
waiting for the
Fachblatt
day,
was,
and
yeah,
I
sure.
almost
Fachblatt
knew what
was-
time they arrive. So I went there,
Yeah.
I bought them, and
Mhm.
because that was our YouTube, I think.
Fachblatt was nowhere near the keyboard magazine. I mean, nowhere
Yeah,
near.
and but Till, he's got many old guitar
Ah,
player magazines. So I'm totally looking forward.
yep.
Yeah.
You should become friends with the guy, I guess. Huh?
We know each other for a while, right?
Uh, Yeah, well, the great thing about having something like Keyboard Magazine as opposed to something like YouTube, which has a lot of more information on kind of everything, is that it's redacted. So it gives you the stuff that otherwise you wouldn't have looked for,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah, that's totally right. I mean, at some point, I got kind of disappointed with the magazines because I felt like it's always the same stuff. I even wrote a letter
Yeah.
to Guitar and Bass
Mhm.
complaining that they were always interviewing the same guys. It was like
Mhm.
late 90s or
Yeah.
something.
Right. That's what they.
Then
Yeah.
the
That's what
cool
they.
thing was they really replied
Okay. What
and they
did they
said,
do?
okay, so who you want to have? And I said, Hiram Bullock,
Hmm.
Wolfgang Mutspiel. And the crazy thing was, they did it.
Next
They
issue.
did
Hiram
interview.
Bullock, Wolfgang Mutspiel.
Maybe 2 months later, there was Hiram Bullock. I couldn't believe it. I was like, guys, all right, that's amazing. Yeah. So and there was Wolfgang Mutspiel,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that was great. Yeah. So, but I was also I learned a lot from that. That was great. Yeah. But we digress, right? We
Yeah,
didn't really.
yeah. And these days, those magazines are pretty much all the same, almost identical. They're kind of an industry catalog foremost,
Mm,
uh, pushing certain gear, no matter what, and they get thinner and thinner. And
yeah.
there's almost no players' information anymore. That's why I got away from American Keyboard Magazine.
Mm,
Finally, it turned into Electronic Musician
mm,
after getting thinner and thinner and worse and worse.
yeah.
Finally, they turned into Electronic Musician, and they published the same articles as Future Music, which I
Mm,
have anyway. So I said, okay,
yeah.
stop subscribing.
We got more questions about the half whole tone scale. Yeah. Oh, we talked about in the course, right?
Oh yeah.
That's exactly right. It's
Mhm.
the half whole scale, the diminished scale, which you
Yeah.
can play on a dominant chord. And
Or
I
pretty much
really,
anything. Pretty much anything, actually.
yeah,
It always works.
that's how they teach it, but
Yeah.
that's a different story. That's exactly right. So I found that diminished scale the first time in the Robben Ford interview, and of course in Frank Gambale's technique book, which is a brilliant book actually. If you want to spend some money on books, there's
Mhm.
two books which are really awesome.
Mhm.
It's the Frank Gambale technique book, and it's not about technique actually. It's not what you think it is. It's all about what can you play on which chord, which was amazing information for me at that point because there was no YouTube. And the diminished scale, and the diminished scale, the cool thing is that it's really like if this is G half whole,
Mhm. Right.
you can have a G diminished arpeggio and an arpeggio which is a half step higher, and those two arpeggios make up the scale, which is
Yeah.
quite amazing. And of
Right.
course, it
Mhm.
repeats in minor thirds, as you
Mhm.
probably know. And you're gonna always go up a half step, diminished arpeggio, and that's pretty out there. So you have to make it melodic.
Mhm. And you could use it, for example, on the first few bars of Revelation. You could,
Okay.
right? If you solo over it, yeah. Okay. Right?
Yes, it is.
There it
It is
is,
not.
yeah. So that's the really it's so useful,
Yeah.
right? In itself, it sounds abstract. It sounds like, what is that? Very academic. But as soon as you put it in context, it's just a great device for just about anything.
Yeah, and it creates so much tension. And the way Robben Ford uses it a lot is that if you are on the first degree, like G7, you go to the 4 chord to C7.
Hmm.
You can think of it as like a 5-to-1, like G7 to C.
Right. Hmm.
So this
Yeah.
this
That's
G,
the most common use of it.
yeah,
Yeah. As a dominant scale is that's the most common use. But you could
exactly,
always also play it on the C if you like. Right?
yeah,
Yeah. Coming from what? Pentatonic if you like.
right,
It's only about where you dissolve it to, right?
exactly. The resolution is the key.
Because
You
the
can-
scale in itself or of itself is it doesn't have a function or a color. That's why I say you can play it over pretty much anything, whatever you like, right?
right. It just has to come out right.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah,
always sounds right.
you have to resolve it correctly. So
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
hmm,
If you resolve it, you
yeah,
get that sound. You get that.
hmm,
For me, it has a color. It's
hmm,
that it really is a sound that you can work with, and if you resolve it correct,
hmm,
it's gonna work, and it's got that sound to it.
yeah.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I think if it had,
Well, I wouldn't do it on a country number though.
yeah, yeah, the lower half. That's yeah. Country is a different thing. Yeah. Uh,
It's maybe a little touchy. I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. But yeah, that's right. So Bernard says you could think of it um, as part Mixolydian, part alter scale.
Hmm.
Like it starts out like altered does,
Yeah.
it's an alter scale. Yeah,
Hmm. Right.
but then it's like Mixolydian on
I mix
top.
it
Like
in. Hmm.
it's 1, flat 2, sharp 2, and major third, and sharp 4,
Hmm.
and then it's 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Yeah, it's a hip tool, and Robben Ford was really one of the guys who did that on blues tunes, which was really like everybody was talking about. Okay, he's playing bebop now, but
Hmm.
it's inspired, of course, but he also checked out scales, which none of
Right.
the blues guys really did back then. Yeah.
It also has a lot of tritone sounds in it,
Oh
which
yeah.
is always good to have, like this
Yeah.
thing.
A lot
So
of people.
you can create a lot of mystery with it, right? If you want that.
Right, right. It sounds like Debussy or
Yeah.
Ravel, right? So they did stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can pick up out all the intervals that the thing has. It's got lots of minor seconds, of course.
Hmm.
It's got lots of major seconds.
Hmm.
You can play minor thirds, yeah, and you can play tritones and all the intervals that are inside. It's very yeah. Yeah, that's right. It can be a diminished scale. That's because Bernard is asking, didn't think about using the diminished sounds. Yeah,
Hmm.
like basically the diminished thing is that if you have a diminished chord, you start not with the half step, but you start with the whole step.
Hmm.
It's like the whole half scale works really well on a diminished chord.
Hmm.
Excuse me, because you got all the right tensions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you want a tension working on a chord, you use a tension which is a whole step above a chord tone. Like if a note is a whole step above a chord tone, it's gonna sound pretty good. Yeah, it's gonna work usually.
Hmm.
And of course, if you have a whole half step scale, On a diminished chord, you got the G diminished arpeggio, and the other arpeggio is a whole step above. So you have all good tensions basically. If you play it, if you play the diminished arpeggio a whole step up over that diminished thing, so that works. Yeah, but usually there's not a lot of tunes where you have like a diminished chord going for 2 bars or something. So usually that that's not gonna happen. So yeah, so you can try to use it, but it's rare. Like you have to write a tune where you have like 4 bars of a diminished chord. Which,
Well, to me, it's one of those means to blur tonality because it's a symmetrical scale,
mm,
and so you can take it away from any root note, right?
mhm,
You can take the music away from root notes.
mhm.
It's out there in space, and you can't just pin it to one root note. Like these sounds, there is no root note anymore,
Mm,
right? It's diminished sound.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
it's really fun to fool
Mhm.
around with that stuff.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, this sound by itself, it sounds pretty out there.
Mhm.
But that's the great thing about Robben Ford. He can make all this stuff sound really, really good. Yeah, and it's also a lot of times people say, "Oh yeah, Robben Ford. Oh, he plays half whole scale," but it's just like less than 1% of the stuff he's playing.
I mean, it's never about the scale itself. It's about what you do with it, what you express with it.
And it's usually it's a little spot where it comes up. Yeah,
Mhm.
because you
Mhm.
can't use it like on the whole solo. Usually it's like one spot where you put some extra chili, and then wow,
Mhm.
that's the sound. Yeah.
Mhm. But
So
it could as well be just the right means to express like moods that I find hard to express within in a major scale. I mean, a major scale is so, yeah, it's so rooted again.
mhm.
So it's not easy to do something disturbing in a major scale, for example. Uh,
Except sitting on
make
the
something sound
fourth
disturbing.
degree,
Yeah.
except playing F over a C chord all the time.
Mhm.
That can sound okay at some point, but
Mhm.
yeah. So I mean, well, we're already long. So you guys still there? we so should we finish up the last part of the tune
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
because we didn't do that, right? Now we get to basically the
There
chorus.
is always the great question about the ending. Whenever I played that tune with anyone, there was always a question about the ending.
Oh
Is there
yeah.
an ending in it?
So it
Yeah.
depends also which version, but
Yeah, of course. Hmm.
now we get this B part,
Hmm.
which is of course
Hmm.
the famous thing where you
Yeah,
get
sure.
and this stuff basically repeats,
Hmm.
and it's all gospel chords, right? Like inversions, of course.
Yeah.
And finally, we got the B7 resolving to E minor. There it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful. This is just
Gospel
pure
land.
gospel, right? Yeah, pure gospel. Yeah. Yeah. And back we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that ending is of course a little bit funny. That's right. I think this is, as far as I remember, this is not correct. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yeah,
Hmm.
we put a different ending on. I think I still have the super gain chart because we let me find that. Oh no, I closed it. I think I can't find it right now. Where did I put it? It doesn't matter. Yeah. Anyway, so what a great song. Yeah. Maybe at some point we do a version of it with Groove Galaxy. That would be
Yeah,
fun.
let's do that. Sure.
We
Of
could do a
course.
version and
Mhm.
maybe even write a little arrangement
Mhm.
and do something that would be fun.
We
Yeah.
might have to take it away from that shuffle groove because otherwise we're gonna sound like like the Yellowjackets if we want it or not.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We played in 7.
Hmm. Played in 7, yeah, or maybe with some kind of West African sound under it.
Yeah, right.
Something like that. We'll see.
That'll be fun. Yeah. Anyway, we're recording in May, yeah,
Hmm.
but we are already we have already lots of tunes to record. But at some point, I'm sure we're gonna do another cover version of something. Maybe
Hmm.
if you guys have an idea, maybe some of you have suggestions what we could record, like a cover tune
Right. If you have a request for a cover version.
that would be fun. Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So, guys, I hope you enjoyed that talk about Russell Ferrante. Yeah, check out this. It's amazing.
Hmm. And
What a record.
check out this from time to
Oh yes,
time.
Ollie plays on that. Yeah, I bought this somewhere. I didn't know about that record. I found it somewhere in a used CD store.
Hmm.
I know it still exists actually. I was there a couple of weeks ago in the Aventinstraße, close to
Oh yeah.
Isator
Oh yeah. I
in
know that one.
Börse.
Hmm. Right. Sure.
I bought lots of
Yeah.
CDs there, and I
Yeah.
found it there. I
This is
think
of course interesting because of the few, because of the two different guys. The
yeah,
playing style is so different, and
totally.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
it's really an
ah,
incredible.
Till said I saw Robben Ford many years ago at Schlachthof. He refused to play Revelation, no keyboards. Great to have Oliver there here today.
Should have called me. Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
that's right. So
mhm.
there's no way he would probably play it without keyboards. That's right. It's
Yeah,
pretty tough to play it.
doesn't make sense in a
No,
trio. No.
and a trio is pretty hard to play. Yeah. Even though I think there's a
You'd lose all the harmonies. So
yeah, that's tough. So that's why keyboards and guitar is just a great combination.
of course, that's why almost every band has it.
Yes,
Even if the guys sometimes don't get along too well, but
that's right.
that's just how it is.
That's right. That's right. It's not so easy. We can talk about that at some other point. That's also fun.
Yeah.
Keyboarders and guitar players.
Never ending story.
That's also a great topic.
At least we two give good examples.
We try to, yeah.
We can say
But I think we never had any too many big clashes so far.
not really.
But it's possible to have them. Yeah,
Sure.
that's right. Yeah, let's see if we can. Yeah, what we come up with next week. I mean, our drummer actually kind of told us that he might come on the show. Arno.
Arno.
That would be really fun to interview.
That'd be
him,
fun.
actually.
That'd
Really
be
fun.
fun.
He's a little bit reluctant because he thinks his English is not good enough. But yeah, let's see.
Never
Maybe
mind.
do it in German, in Bavarian.
Sometimes I don't even understand him in German, so what?
I'm gonna tell him that. Oh man, yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, maybe he's coming up, but I'm not so sure yet. But I call him again. But we figured out something else. I mean, we could talk about some other that's actually a great topic, maybe to talk about keyboard and guitar combinations that inspired us, maybe
Yeah, sure.
like those guys, the Yellowjackets, and of course, talk to your daughter. You have to check this out. And I couldn't find it right away because there's the inside story. This is Robben Ford's first album. As a leader, and the band was basically this band. but they recorded maybe I think 2 years earlier, and it was already that band because I think Russell Ferrante and Robben Ford, they go way back.
Probably.
They know each other like from the early 70s or something. They're from around the same
How
area.
old is Robben Ford now? Something like 70, right? In his 70s?
No, not yet,
Not yet?
but close. I think he's turning 70 this year, and
Okay.
and I have the great honor of having built a jazz guitar right now. Did I tell you?
Yes, I
And,
know. Yeah.
and Robben Ford has it's built exactly at the same time.
Yeah.
Crazy. Robben Ford ordered one, and I ordered one. And
hmm
they are right
hmm
next to each other, getting painted.
Ah, great.
So
How far is it now?
it's almost done, I think. But
Ah.
Stefan Sonntag, he sends them
mhm,
somewhere else to get the color. So he doesn't do
mhm.
the color by himself.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yes, me too.
hmm
Yeah, we're gonna send. Maybe let's play a Revelation with a jazz guitar,
Yeah.
and we're gonna send the
Sure.
video to Robben Ford.
Mhm.
That would be fun. Let's see. Yeah. All right, guys. So glad you all joined in. So we haven't had so many viewers for a while. That's really nice.
Yeah, great.
Cool.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for joining in.
Yep.
Hope you liked it.
And come back next week.
Yeah, we
We'll
can.
let you know what we're gonna do, what we're talk about, what we're talking about, and well, if you're interested, or as I always say, drop us a line if you want some topic
Yeah,
or a special album or whatever.
yeah. You can make suggestions what we can talk about,
Yeah.
or we come up with something. I'm sure.
You're right.
Cool. So, if you want to listen to the other shows, we got a couple. If you haven't heard the interview with Steve Hahn from last week, I think that was really fun to hear all the Alan Holdsworth stories.
Right, check him out. He's really fun to listen to.
Yeah, and what a great album he did. Collaborations, it's amazing. It's a really mind blowing album. I think
Yeah, yeah, great.
all the guys playing on it. Oh man, yeah, check it out.
Mhm.
Cool, Ollie.
Yep, cool.
See you next week.
Michi?
Same place, same time.
Yep, thanks for talking.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. And Till, Bernhard, thanks a lot. See you next week. Bye bye.